After a long wait and multiple delays, Cyberpunk 2077 finally releases into the world. Now, I've been playing it for around 3 to 4 hours, and I just don't know how I feel about it at the moment. I mean, I stayed away from the hype, mostly. The game wasn't even really on my radar until around October this year. I wasn't even sure if I was going to pick it up at all. Obviously, I have picked it up. That's the gameplay that you're seeing right now. And I've heard everything about how it's probably one of the most anticipated games ever created. And, I definitely get that. But when I booted up the game for the first time on my PS5 and started the tutorial, I had this instant feeling of like, why does this look so bad? I literally closed the game and went to check if I was accidentally running the PS4 version. You know, like on the PS5, you can select with some games which version you're using. Now, I understand that this is the PS4 version. You know, it is the PS4 disc, but it has some minor upgrades when playing on the PS5, right? I believe that's how it goes, like 60 FPS and a few more visual niceties, things like that. That's what I'm given to understand anyway. So I dived into the menus, I turned off motion blur and film grain and messed with a few other settings as well. No matter what I did, I just couldn't make it look anything like, the marketing material and trailers. Obviously trailers, they're designed to look better and sell the game and everything, but I was hoping to get, close to that, but no, I mean, I think all of the footage that they use and that they show is PC footage, though. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but I think that's how it works. I do want to be clear, though. I think the visual designs, the designs are really, really good. Like, they're very good. But the actual graphical fidelity is frankly not great. In this version, at least. I know on the PC, you can do ray tracing and DLSS and all that kind of stuff, but this version just does not look good. And again, I'm aware that it's the PS4 version with slight upgrades. This is not the full-on next-gen console version that's coming out next year. But really, what good does that do anyone, now on the game's release who's playing the game? Like, this really doesn't help us, because people that have been hyped for this game for nearly, 8 years or something like that, those people are going to want to play the game now on the release. So I can't see many people. I mean, there will be some people that buy the next gen version regardless, but I feel like that version should have been ready to go. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, I hate to say it, but graphically, I think, and somewhat gameplay wise, Cyberpunk feels like a bit of a Watch Dogs 1 situation to me, at least currently, where they showed it off to the sort of best of its ability on a high-end PC, and then the console versions were just, I mean, even the PC versions were pretty bad with Watch Dogs, but you know what I mean. It just feels like a massive downgrade to me, at least at the moment. The gunplay feels okay, but it also feels off occasionally, although that could be due to the early guns being kind of crappy and being a low-level character. I had to actually turn off the snap to enemy setting in the options, as it felt really awful. I was either sort of under or over correcting every time I tried to shoot an enemy. Controls overall feel just a tiny bit off for me personally, but sound design, the sounds that I was getting is a bit mixed. The guns I think sound really great. The voice acting is generally great too. But I really don't like the type of music this game uses everywhere. Now I know it really fits the theme, and it's definitely cyberpunk music. I'm not saying that the music itself is bad, because it definitely suits it, and I couldn't imagine it really having any other kind of music. But it's just not music that I enjoy personally, so it's a bit grating on me because I just don't like it. But that's a personal taste, and I wouldn't hold that against the game. It's definitely not the game's fault that I don't like some music. That's me. So I've seen a lot of headlines about bugs and glitches, and yeah, they're definitely here. Far more than I'd expect in a game that was supposed to be this polished. I mean, this is why they delayed it, right? This is why they did all this and put all this development time into it and the extra delays and all that to really polish the game. And it's come out with probably some of the most buggy stuff that I've seen in a long time. I mean, it could be on Fallout 76 levels of buggy, which is saying something, to be honest. I personally had 2 crashes One section where I was in a building doing a mission. I was in obviously first person view, and I was sitting in a chair talking to some characters, and all of a sudden the camera cut to my car outside and stayed there while the cutscene inside was kind of playing. So all I could see was this static image of my car, and people just walking around, outside, and this cutscene's going on, and I'm still answering questions and talking to them. But then when the cutscene finished and I could walk around, it didn't put me back in my body, so I was just kind of stuck. Luckily, reloading my save actually worked and fixed that. So, but still, it's still annoying. It shouldn't happen, There was also numerous lights, textures, and NPC glitches, which I think are always common in open world games. I don't think there's been a single one without some glitches. You had people sinking into the floors, things like that, basically. It's not really a good look, honestly, for a game to come out, after all this time and be like this. It's just not really acceptable. Hopefully it'll get fixed, but I'm not reviewing it when it's fixed. I'm reviewing it now. One thing that does bother me is that when you first start the game and you're given so many bits of information on things like people, culture, tech, companies, and loads of other stuff, it just starts sounding a bit like Techno Babble. I was really trying to get invested into the characters and what was going on and trying to gauge what these kind of people are like and all this kind of thing, but it just got too much. And I'm thinking, right, who was that you were talking about? Like, what company did you work for? I can't remember all these different names and techno speak things at the moment. And, it could just be because I'm old, right? But, I'm not a youngster anymore, but I just could not grasp what they were talking about sometimes. And it starts to go a little over your head. But again, this is early days, so who knows what it'll be like. Maybe I'll learn it as I go through, and maybe it won't be such a negative point. I will say though, because of this and a few other things, I've not really cared about a single person I've met. Not even my character, V. I just don't care. I just don't care about any of these people yet. And again, I know that this is early days. This is an initial, impressions video. So who knows what I'll think in the next 20 hours, right? So now this does kind of go without saying, but this could easily all change, as I just said. Cyberpunk is a huge game with a lot to do and a lot to see. This is just the early stages. I don't think the game is bad at the moment, but I'm far from seeing what the hype was all about. I'm struggling to see what's so incredible about it at this moment. Again, I've not done much, not seen much. There's plenty more to do, and it hasn't hooked me yet. But who's to say it won't in the next 2 hours or so, right? Or in the next 10 hours. Who's knows? Well, I'm committed to finishing it. I'm going to finish it and I'm going to review it, and that should be probably in a week or so. I'm not, I'm kind of new to this. I don't have review copies. I just get the game on the same day that you will get it, and then I play it, and then that's it. So yeah, I hope to have the review out soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I hope you're enjoying the game. Thank you very much to anyone who took the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, please consider leaving a like. If you have something to say, the comment section is open down below, and if you'd like to help support the channel, you can subscribe or head over to my Patreon page. Links for all the important stuff will be in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.